Time is 6 p.m. Would everyone please stand? Mr. Adama is going to lead us in prayer.
Bow your heads, please. Dear Lord, we come to you this evening, giving thanks for giving us another day, led by our neighbors. And the council we will get together this evening to discuss the city business, Lord, and be with those that are on the way and those that couldn't make it, Lord. Lord, continue to bless our city, participants in the political arena here, Lord. Lord, first of all, continue to give you thanks for being a forgiving God and for blessing us. Bless this meeting. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. Pledge to the flag of our country. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
State of Texas.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you all. I would also like to thank my wife for coming to the council meeting. She usually watches it from the comfort of our living room, but she's here in the audience tonight. Thank you, Karen. All right, Scott, would you take roll call, please, sir?
Yes, sir. Mayor Chris Parr.
I'm here.
Councilmember Mitchell Davis.
Here.
Councilmember Chris Ellis.
Here.
Councilmember Jerry Reesner. Absent. Councilmember Greg Parton.
Here.
Councilmember Larry Sanders. Here. Scott Francis, City Attorney.
Here.
Chief of Police Stephen Carlisle. Here. City Engineer Greg Phipps. Captain Jeff Campbell.
Here.
City Secretary Marie Campbell.
Here.
And Scott Castleberry, City Administrator.
You go. Thank you, Scott. All right, we've got one public comment. Ms. Stewart, Linda, you're up, ma'am.
I wanted to my name's Linda Stewart, and I live on Magnolia Bend, Karen Roman Forest. And I just wanted to reiterate that the recent election proved the importance of every vote and the need to participate in even the smallest of local elections. It will make a difference. I'd also like to thank everyone who voted, and although losing by only 9 votes was disappointing, it was not discouraging to me. It was actually encouraging for me to stay active with Events Committee and be here at all the council meetings and to run again next year. So I hope at that time I have your support again. Thank you.
Is that all the public comments we have?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to go ahead and move into item 6. This is consideration possible action. This is an approval of resolution 327-25, a resolution of the city of Roman Forest, Texas, certifying the election results for city council position number 2, city council position number 4, and city council position mayor. This election was held on November 4th, 2025, and declaring elected to be the city. Okay, so I'm going to read you the election results just so they're in the record. So mayor position, final votes were 317. Hey, I got 100% of the vote. All right, this is for position 2, council, David Mullane, 172 votes. Linda Stewart, 163 votes. Christopher Ellis, 57 votes. David Mullane, because we are a plurality city, David Mullane wins that position 2. Position 4, Ricky Warwick, 191 votes. Greg Parton, 169 votes. Ricky Warwick wins that position 4. let's get to the, sorry, let's go out of order. Let's get to the actual resolution. All right, this is resolution 327-25, a resolution of the city of Roman Forest, Texas, certifying the election results for mayor and council positions number 2 and 4. Such election was held on November 4th, 2025. After canvassing the results of said election, results of the canvassing is certified to be true and correct as follows. Mayor, Chris Parr, council position 2, would be, council position 2 would be David Mullane, council position 4, Ricky Gorwick. So I would just need a motion and a second. This is not a roll call vote, Mr. Francis, correct?
Sorry?
This is not a roll call vote, is it?
Oh, no.
Okay, I just need a motion and a second to accept resolution 327-25 as written.
I'll make a motion to accept resolution number 327-25 as written.
Motion on the floor, Councilman Sanders, to accept resolution 327-25 as written. Do I have a second? Councilman Davis seconds. All in favor of approval of the resolution, show it as unanimous. All right, council, citizens, if you will give me a moment, I have some words that I would like to say before we do the swearing in. So I'm going to walk around here. Councilman Ellis, please join me up here, sir. You know, Councilman, you didn't have a lot of time with us, and I know we benefited from a lot of things we were looking at. We benefited from your experience, especially in construction and remodeling, and didn't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all right.
But your service, your public service to this the city is definitely welcome.
Okay,
So
thank you.
I'd like to give you this.
Awesome.
All
Appreciate
right.
it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Greg, you may want to stay seated for a little bit, because I got some words to say to you. Okay, public service. Let's talk about that word. Let's break it down. Public service, public servant. You know, you see public servants, right? They go by and it escalate. But true public service is this man right here. True public service is you do things not expecting compensation. You do things because you want to make a difference, because you want to serve your community. You want to serve those people in your community. This man, through a terrible illness, a terrible health condition, he didn't give up. He came out the other side, thank God. He didn't give up. You know, he didn't text me and say, I'm too sick to come to a meeting. You know what he would do? He would call me and say, hey, I need to discuss item 1 or 3 or 4. I want to give you my thoughts on that item. I want you to know what I've researched. Hours and hours of research, ordinances, legal opinions. I mean, unbelievable what this guy has contributed to this council. He exemplifies the word public servant. He sets an example for everyone that comes after him. I'm glad to call him my friend, and I'm very proud to have served on this council with him. Thank you, Greg. All right, thank y'all for allowing me to take that time. to item 7, swearing in of the candidates. I believe, Chief, I will be the first one. I would like my police chief to be swearing in of my position. Do you have my copy or not?
I'll get you aside. Sure.
Yeah.
Raise your hand.
You're gonna make me do this the hard way.
I state your name.
I, Chris Parr,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the duties
that I will faithfully execute the duties
of the office of mayor of the city of Roman Forest,
of the office of mayor of the city of Roman Forest,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and the laws
the Constitution and the laws
of the United States
of the United States
and the great state of Texas.
and the great state of Texas.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
I still have one more.
No, I will get you to sign that one.
Signature pages front. We have all the
Chief.
signature pages for everything.
He got signature pages for everything. I should be in there. There you go.
There you go. All three of them.
That's David. You're on top, right? You're on top and bottom. I got it. That one first.
All right. All right, next up.
I got this.
Next up, City Council Position 2, David Lane. Would you like to read it or repeat?
Repeat.
Repeat. All right, please raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, David Lloyd,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully execute the duties
I will faithfully execute the duties
of the office of City Council Member Number 2
of City Council Member Number 2
of the City of Roman Forest,
of the City of Roman Forest,
and I will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and the laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States
and of this state, so help me God.
and of the state, so help me God.
Congratulations, welcome back. All right, Ricky, come on up. Ricky is City Council Position Number 4. You want to read it or repeat it? It don't matter. Raise your right hand, are you ready? I state your name.
Ricky Ward.
Do solemnly swear or affirm
Do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office of City Council Member Number 4. I will faithfully execute the duties of
the duties of
office of City Council Member 4
office of City Council Member 4,
of the City of Roman Forest.
City of Roman Forest.
And I will, to the best of my ability,
And will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and the laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States
and of this state.
and of this state.
So help me
So
God.
help me God.
Welcome on board, Rick. I don't know about man did too. All right, we did. All right, at this time, yes, council members, take your seats. That was, all right. Okay, council, that was, number 7. Council members, welcome to your seats. Looking forward to working with both of you. David, you have a track record here, which I would say was excellent, so thank you for coming back.
Thank you, sir, for having me. Thank y'all for allowing me to serve you.
Moving on, council, to item 8, discuss, consider appointment of Mayor Pro Tem to get council's approval for the appointment. Council number 8 and 9 will be tabled. I will bring that appointment, that suggestion to you at the December 15th meeting. So item 8 and 9 are tabled. And 10, sorry. 8, 9, and 10 are tabled at this point. Moving on to consent agenda items, we will be taking some of these separately. We have council members that were not present at that meeting. So let's take a look and consider, under consent agenda, consider and approve the minutes of the regular council meeting dated October 27th, 2025. This was a regular city council meeting. This one we will be voting on separately.
Do you need a motion for that now?
Whenever y'all are through reviewing it, I just need a motion in a second to accept 11 minutes of October 27th.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make the motion to approve the minutes for the regular city council meeting dated October 27th, 2025.
Motion on the floor, excuse me, Councilman Davis, to accept minutes, approved minutes as presented October 27th, 2025.
I'll second.
Second, Councilman Sanders. All in favor of approval. I have Councilman Davis, Councilman Sanders in approval. I have Councilman Lane and Councilman Warwick abstaining. All right, moving on to the maintenance report. So council maintenance through police report will be voted on after all are read and presented. So maintenance report is for review. Court report, permit report are for review.
Will you all please turn your mics on?
Can you hear me now? I figured everyone could hear me anyway.
Better with mics on.
All right. Okay, council, under consent agenda items number 11, we're looking at maintenance report, court report, permit report as presented. Does it look good? And moving on to the financial report.
It's for review.
For review.
For review.
Oh no, I'm not getting away with that.
Okay. For end of October, we have a general funds account, $480,938. Reserve, we have $394,171. Asset forfeiture, $15,269. FEMA, $279,901. COVID local recovery, $338,540. The 2016 certificate capital projects, $39,145. And the debt service, we have $181,590 for a total of $1,729,557.
Any questions? Council?
I have no questions, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
City Administrator report?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. There you go, Hank. All right. Events committee, let's talk about events committee first. Since we moved this meeting up a week, we'll give an early birthday wish to Deanna, our events committee president, whose birthday's on the 26th. And we would have been able to say next Monday, but happy birthday early,
Happy birthday.
Deanna.
Thank you.
All right. 2 days ago on Saturday the 15th, we had coffee and donuts up here at City Hall at 9:30. It was a pretty nice little turnout. We also had the blood drive associated with that. I'm sure Chief's going to tell you about the number of participants they had with the blood drive. Yes. But it was a good turnout. We appreciate y'all always putting that on. It's a good time to meet with the community and talk with people that we haven't seen in a while. This coming Saturday is the car show, Hot Rods in the Forest, which will be held across the street at the Grace Church. It starts at noon to 2, registration 11 to 11:45. Also associated with that will be a toy drive for kids at Christmas, so bring a toy if you're coming to that event. Should there be rain in the forecast like there is, and it's raining, looks like it could rain it out, that decision will be made on Friday. And we'll put that out on our Facebook pages and let you know. So if you're coming to that or you have a car in that, check back on that. If you don't hear anything, we are going. Okay? The annual Christmas tree lighting is going to be on Thursday, December the 4th. Dogwood Elementary School Choir will be here starting to sing 5 o'clock-ish with the lighting of the tree to follow. Come out and meet the Grinch and have your picture taken with Santa. And then the Christmas decorating yard contest will take place on Sunday, December the 14th. Judges will start traveling around the city at 6 o'clock that evening. The winners will be announced the next night on December the 15th at the city council meeting. So we'll announce them that night, and then the signs will go out that week. We can get the mayor and everybody from the events committee together to go do that. Okay? Administration. Tentatively, Energy will be starting to bore down the boulevard in December on that project that we've been talking about for, seems like a year now. But, once again, it is a straight bore on both sides of the boulevard. They won't come up in your property. Everybody that should have signed off by now, and then they will start pulling the fiber starting in January. So just remember, it can happen. They could bore into, they could do the whole project while you're gone to church one day, and you'll never know they were there. For those of you that weren't here last month, we the negotiations with Thornberry Development for Phase 2 were completed last month. So, as a city administrator, being my first year, thank you to all the city council members, the mayor, and everybody that took the diligence to get that project done and moving forward. It's been a long process, but we're finally moving in the right direction. Drainage improvement up at the city park at Roman Forest Boulevard. I know you all see that every day as you drive out. The 3 36-inch pipes have been installed. They are finishing the middle part of it, putting the top layer of concrete on hopefully tomorrow. And as you can see, if you look down in the ditch, they're just making it a whole lot nicer than it was. They're cementing everything, so the water's going to flow so much better. So if you get a chance and you see Commissioner Matt Gray, you might tell him thank you for all he did for the front. Also, in that same project, in the Venus outfall, if you don't know much about it, it's a big outfall behind Venus that years ago, somebody put some railroad cars in it thinking that would improve the drainage, and they have come in, they started on Chariot and have dug their way all the way up to those cars now. They took out 5 of them that were made of fiberglass already, and the last 3 should be taken out in the morning sometime. So just another shout out to him, because once he clears that out and they include all the embankments and put some riff raff into that's rock for those of you city people that don't know what that is. Get it all lined up. It's going to be so much better for the drainage on that part for the city. They also have completed working over here off of Forum Court, where they also put in some underground, took out an old pipe and replaced it with a new pipe that runs all the way and increases the water flow that gets it to Centurion Circle. Ms. Jennifer Rodriguez, who is the owner of the Porter Flower Reserve, is going to donate holiday decorations to the city up at the city sign as you come across the bridge. So if you haven't ever used Porter Flower Reserve, she's the one that's going to be responsible for putting some Christmas decorations together for the Roman Forest sign when you come across the bridge. A big shout out, first of all, to Josh in code enforcement, who over the past months worked very hard with the new businesses and residents doing the permitting and the code enforcement. It's a tireless job. Nobody really understands what all goes on with those two jobs until you come and get behind the scenes and you see what it's all about. So he's doing a great job. He's been in it for about 10 months now and getting better at it every day. But he didn't get a lot of good recognition. He's always the bad guy. So thank you to Josh for all he's doing. And then the last thank you on today is for Larry, Lee, and Gunner. They're our maintenance department. And I've lived out here a long time, and I was tired of looking at the stumps on Roman Forest Boulevard, just like I think a lot of you were. And over the past 2 weeks, they came in, they took out all the stumps from the park all the way down at Appian, and soon we will be working on the ones that are in the walking trail park, and those will be gone. So, yeah, if you see those guys, tell them thank you, tell them what a great job they did, and I hope everybody appreciates that. I think it makes our city a lot, it beautifies our city to what we're supposed to be, okay? And then just a reminder, next Thursday, Thanksgiving, the city will be closed. We also close a half day on that Wednesday to let our staff start getting ready with their families and such. So if you've got a permit thing or you've got a code thing, come up before noon on that Wednesday, and then we'll reopen on Monday. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And it's not a question, I understand how the meeting goes. One of the things that I want to interject was that to let the neighbors that are here that the garden level, once a month, or excuse me, seems like we're picking up the trash on Appian Lane from Roman Forest to Galaxy. Anybody who wants to come out and help, they're more than welcome. The county provides us vests, trash bags, and all tools. So gloves.
And that's this Saturday at 8 o'clock.
Yes.
And we meet at where the future doctor's office is, the old Dollar Tree. Yes, ma'am.
We do gloves too, I know I ordered that.
Anybody else?
Everybody's invited to come out, meet your neighbors, do a good cause for the city.
Sir.
Thank you.
All right, Chief, you're up.
All right, so first thing, we're pleased to announce the promotion of Carolyn Wynn to the rank of corporal. Corporal Wynn has served with the center for 4 years as a police officer and brings prior military experience. Having served 4 years in the United States Army, she holds an intermediate peace officer certification with multiple specialized state certifications, including instructor proficiency, court security specialist, mental health officer, active shooter instructor, firearms instructor. Her dedication and expertise make her a valuable asset to our agency. I was a little late in the game when I invited her to come to our council meeting. She's already gone home. So maybe next council meeting, I'll invite her up here and get to introduce you to our new supervisor. She's been assigned to the A shift. Throughout October, the Roman Forest Police Department actively participated in several community events, including National Night Out, both in Tavola and Roman Forest, trick-or-treating, both trunk-or-treat celebrations in both, and Rum and Forest, and Tacoma, both, for all those events. We also joined the East County-wide Sharing is Caring food drive, a collaborative effort among all the police departments and fire departments locally. I don't have the stats on that, but I'll probably give you all that next month. We've officially launched our annual toy drive. Donations of unwrapped toys, bicycles, gift cards, team gifts, and monetary contributions are welcome at the police department. I'll be making a Facebook post pretty soon. We partner with a student youth organization at the Lone Star College to serve our local kids here in New Canaan. I wanted to let y'all know that Montgomery County District Attorney's Office has undergone a leadership transition. After 17 years of service, District Attorney Brett Ligon has resigned. Governor Greg Abbott had appointed First Assistant District Attorney Mike Holly to serve as the new District Attorney for the remainder of Mr. Ligon's term. I mentioned this before, but I didn't actually put it in the report. So, residents of Rum and Forest will receive a new refrigerator magnet containing updated contact information in their water bills this month. So everybody that gets a paper bill got a refrigerator magnet. I'm fixing to mail out to people who don't get a paper bill. We'll be doing that hopefully this week or next week. So please discard any previous magnets, as the new version includes our updated Vine emergency line. For those enrolled in electronic billing, magnets will be sent directly. We are currently finalizing distribution methods for Tacoma residents. Please update your records with our new non-emergency contact number, which is 936-538-5900, option 2, and you can put this in your mobile device as 936-538-5900, comma 2, and it'll prevent you from having to hit the option. This is a little late because this is already passed, but we had a blood drive November 15th, and it was in conjunction with our events committee's Coffee and Donuts social, and we did pretty well. Actually gave no blood, and there wasn't any room on the bus the whole time. Do you happen to know how many? Do you happen to know how many donated?
Oh, we had 14 donors, 17 units.
There you go, 14 donors, 17 units. I donated 2 units.
I did 2 units.
All right.
I donated 3.
And that was a better one than usual, right?
Yeah, that's about average.
All right, and something additional I put on the monthly staff report, actually Jeff's idea, and I think it's a good thing. Additionally, we have included some flock camera statistics in this month's report. So there's some statistics that come from the flock reports, and I don't think they include some of the things that come up from day to day when we need to refer to things for investigative reasons, but this is some good hard facts for your review.
Are those flock camera counts year to date since they've been installed, or is that in 1 month? I find that number for Ebola.
Just 1 month.
1 million reads for the
Yes.
Ebola cameras?
No, all. Oh, yeah, Tavola, yeah. We separated it into Tavola and Roman Forest. Now, the Roman Forest is Roman Forest Boulevard, Wood Branch Drive, and the 2 Galaxy cameras, sets. Tavola also includes Tavola West, which
I
is.
understand, but it's still at 6,000 residents roughly, and 1 million vehicle reads?
I believe that's
for
like
1 month.
every time they go through it.
There's about 10,000 residents in Tavola.
One car could be in there 30 times, 60 times.
Understand.
Yeah, there's about 10,000 residents in Tavola and 3,000 residents in Roman Forest.
Better than writing them down by hand.
Yeah. It actually gives us some good stats. We can tell how many people come through, so that would be good stats and traffic studies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, anyway, y'all got any questions?
Questions for Chief?
All right.
Questions on anything from maintenance report to police report? All right, if there are no questions, we will be voting to approve consent agenda items maintenance report, corporate report, permit report, financial report, city administrator report, and police report as presented. I just need a motion to accept. Motion.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we pass the consent agenda items for the maintenance report, corporate report, permit report, financial report, city administrator report, and police report.
Motion on the floor, Councilman Davis, to approve report maintenance to police report as stated and as presented. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second, Councilman Lane. All in favor of approval? It is unanimous. Item 12, discuss and consider the status of the following project, take any action required. This would be our drainage improvements, road improvements, development improvements. Mr. Phillips, hello, sir.
Good evening. I don't have a lot to report on item 12, other than the water meter relocation that we talked about last week, or last month, I guess, with council. Roman Forest Consolidated Mud is going through that. It's not changing anything as far as the city's concerns are. It's still out median where it was, but it should, once Roman Forest Consolidated approves it, then they're going to go to construction here in the next month. That's all I have on item 12, unless there's something I can answer.
Any questions for Mr. Phillips on item 12?
I have a question. Going on Michelangelo, drainage area over there, have we done any more to that drainage instead of just installing plastic pipe?
No, the permit, the only work that's been done there is just what was permitted. The other items are included in the FEMA project that I'll discuss in 2 agenda items down.
Okay.
And one more question, sir. So the gas pipeline, and I think Scott had filled me in on some of this, any plan to relocate that pipe lower under that blanket so that that ditch can be dug out?
So we talked to Kinder Morgan, I believe, are the owners of those. Those are 2 30-inch pipelines under there. We asked about lowering those after they put last because of the expense to get those 2 pipelines lowered. They have no plans.
Yeah, is there any workaround on that?
We can go back in and re-probe them or have them probe to see what their depths are. And since the county project is going on right there, we can use the county's name with the commissioner's approval and see what we can do to try to get some sort of a solid map over the top, a crush box with a solid map.
Yeah, is there any type of siphon system that could be used on that, or because it doesn't hold water, does that not work?
Well, we had, one of the items that we had looked at there, long-term drainage, was putting in a deep sewer line. Because on the south side of the Roman Forest, it gets real deep in that channel.
Right.
Is coming in and putting an inlet back to the north of the pipelines, and then coming underneath at probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 to 20 feet in depth and tunneling. But at the time, it was funding.
Yeah.
Was not available to do something of that magnitude.
It may be a good time to start looking at and asking some questions right now
Okay.
on that. Yeah, because that ditch needs to be dug well below that mat of riprap that's there now.
Yeah,
And I don't know how deep the pipe is under there. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say it's about 3 feet below, but I could be wrong on that. It's been,
What is their tolerances to have that, how much dirt do they need over, or how much blanket do they need over that?
typically on something we would put in an 18-inch crush, it's a crush box, and then solid concrete over the top of that.
How thick is the
12
concrete?
inches. And that, so you're looking at about 20 inches, 20 to 24 inches with everything to get full of that, plus another foot.
So we're right back where we started.
36 inches, so
Okay.
we can see
Okay.
what they do. But 2 two 30-inch adjustments on there is,
Yeah, no, I figured it's okay. I just,
but we'll look at it.
yeah, look at it and see. Ultimately, that will bring that water to this new outfall project. It would bring a lot more water volume to that.
Yeah, it would do a lot of that.
Gotcha. That's all the questions I had, Mr. Phipps. Any other questions? All right, we're gonna move on to item 13, consider items related to the police station building expansion. Take any action required?
So the plans are being prepared by the architect, MEP, and structural on the project. I've given them until the 4th of December to have plans back to us. We'll do a final review on them, make sure everything is good. We anticipate bringing it to the council at the December meeting. And if all is well, then we will go to bid, start advertising on that project and open in January.
Are the architects and consultants able to give a cost estimate based on the current design?
Yeah, when their design comes out, we'll have a full cost estimate on it. And then just for information, we will have a driller out here doing 2 20-foot boards for foundation design in the next week and a half. And that's all I have on that project. Is that-
Questions for him on item 13?
No, no, no.
All right, we'll move on to item 14. Consider items related to FEMA park and parking lot repairs and city road repairs from 2024 spring flood. Take any action required.
So this is a FEMA project. We've been reporting that we were waiting for the state of Texas to deposit the money. As it turns out, recent correspondence is FEMA is expecting the city to pay for that project up front and be reimbursed after the project is complete. So we are requesting under this agenda item that council authorize us to prepare plans, specifications, everything that's needed to bid that project. We've got about $9,300 in there, $9,400, sorry, in there to prepare those plans and specs and get them ready for bid. We will then, once the project is bid, knowing what the money is for the project, we will evaluate and get with Scott and Chief and work through how that will be paid out, what budget item that will be paid out of. Once, as soon as the contract is done and finalized, then we'll put a request into the state to receive reimbursement on that money.
So with that, will FEMA pay whatever we paid, or are they gonna pay a set rate regardless of what it cost us, whether they pay, call it $10 a square foot for the asphalt track and it cost us 13, their cap is still 10 like an insurance policy? Or are they gonna pay whatever it is?
I can comment on that. Since these are small projects, the FEMA we sign off that it's completed, they give us the money that's agreed. So.
But we know that
it's
in
not-
advance, we know what that money is.
We already know that, so
Okay.
it's not we have an estimate and we submit $1 for $1 and they replace $1 for $1. It's not like that. It's a small project, and the way they used to do it is just give us the money up front. FEMA still treats the state that way. They give the state the money up front on small projects, but for some reason, the state is now saying, we got to do the project, sign off that it's completed, and then they give us the money.
But if the agreed upon amount was 10,000, whether it cost us 12 or 8, they still give us the 10,000.
Right, and the other way too. So if it was 10,000 and we did it for 8, they still give us the 10.
Understood. Okay.
And
And
we
we know
did,
how long it takes to get reimbursed when we're looking at where we're going to get the money from to pay for it in advance. We just need to know the timing on when we're going to get reimbursed to replenish that.
So in my experience, as soon as we sign off that it's done, it's a turnover of something like 2 weeks or something. Whenever I sign that paperwork, we get like 2 weeks, so.
Good.
Other questions concerning this particular item?
Thank you.
All right.
Can we get asking for your consideration for authorization?
So I do need authorization for city engineer, that we need to authorize him to prepare plans and specifications for the FEMA parking lot repairs, city road repairs. This is for the 2024 spring flood.
Is that for $9,700?
9,400.
Do we need a budget number that's coming out of in advance?
Give us a budget number.
So we will hold all of this until, use all of it in the budget transition at the next meeting, or when we have that, after we have that bid, so. I'm not asking for anything right now, we'll just carry it until.
I understand. Okay. So a motion to allow him to move forward, no expenditure at this time.
I'll allow city engineer to move forward with the approval plan for the drainage that we just discussed.
All right.
FEMA parking lot repairs.
Motion on the floor, Councilman Sanders, to go ahead and give city engineer authority to prepare plans, specifications for the FEMA parking lot and road repairs from the 2024 spring flood. Do I have a second?
I want to add one thing there.
He wants to amend, go ahead.
Yeah, not to exceed $9,400.
Not to exceed $9,400. That's in the motion. Do I have a second on that
I'll
motion?
second that, Mayor.
Councilman Lane seconds. Any other discussion, council? All in favor of approval? It is unanimous. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Item 15, this is a zoning presentation by our city attorney, Scott Francis. Come on up.
Okay, well, thank you all for having me here. My name is Scott Francis. I am an attorney with the Randall Law Office. We are the appointed city attorneys for the city of Rome and Forest. With the pass of the enactment of the comprehensive plan in September, the council wanted to basically have me come give a little overview of what kind of zoning laws and regulations the city can begin to enact, and basically how that process works. I'm going to be giving what essentially is a 30,000-foot view of zoning laws and essentially the procedures that the city can begin to take to categorize and officially create ordinances categorizing different areas in the city and what land uses that the city comprises of, and how such areas of land can be used, and how the city can go about actually defining them, enacting specific ordinances and regulations for each area, and the process of what that might look like, and the citizens' role in participating and contributing to that process as well. So first off, just giving a general what is zoning in the most simplest sense of the word. It's essentially just dividing the city into different districts and prescribing regulations based on where those districts occur. The purpose is under the Texas Local Government Code is prescribed to promote the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare, and protecting and preserving places and areas of historical culture or architectural importance and significance. Typically, what we see is they'll be divided into zones such as residential, where single-family homes or multifamily homes might exist, commercial properties where businesses are located, industrial property where there might be plants or manufacturing, or forestry, depending on what kind of might be applicable to the city. Each district, the city is authorized to regulate differently. You can regulate industrial separate from how you regulate residential, and how different from how you regulate commercial. The main key is that it must be applied uniformly throughout those properties. So if one property is located in the residential district, second property is located, it must be regulated uniformly as any other property that's also located within that residential district. Just giving a small background of when this is all created. Essentially, it was the federal government in about 100 years ago, 1926, decided to give local communities the power to regulate their own use and decide what can and can't go within their city. And the important part of that is that it is the first time they use the language of any kind of zoning ordinances must be made in accordance with the comprehensive plan. Texas adopted that soon after, specifically giving that power to the municipalities. And it gave the cities in Texas the concept of separating different kinds of land uses. So certain kind of desirable activities can be used where the city wants it. Undesirable activities might be used in different areas where that might be useful, away from perhaps residential or commercial properties. And again, so the basic tenets of a zoning ordinance, a comprehensive zoning ordinance, is you must adhere to a comprehensive plan. This will be available for everybody, by the way, this PowerPoint presentation. The purpose is designed to lessen congestion in streets, secure safety from fire, panic, and other dangers, promote health and general welfare, provide adequate light and air, preventing overcrowding, avoiding undue concentration of population, and facilitating an adequate provision of transportation, water, sewers, schools, parks, other necessary requirements. Again, it comes back to giving the city the ability to create districts within the city. So you can have districts for recreational, rural, single-family, two-family, multifamily, on down the line, and regulate each category as the city sees fit. Again, they have to be uniform, and the regulations throughout each category must be applied equally. So the statute also allows the city to adopt a comprehensive plan, which the city did in September, and the comprehensive plan essentially gives a long-term plan for the city, and it gives what is can be considered a guideline for how the zoning ordinance will look, but in practical sense, because the law does require the city to, any zoning ordinance must specifically adhere to the comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan in many ways can be stricter than a guideline. It is actually provides restrictions and limits on how far categories can be made in zone and certain zoning regulations can be enacted. Specifically here, in September, the city's comprehensive plan designated 10 land use categories that are displayed here: single-family residential detached, single-family residential attached. Those are essentially two-family homes, duplexes or quadplexes, items like that. Manufactured and mobile homes, neighborhood commercial, that is actually businesses that are open for retail business, public institutional, parks and recreation, forest and open space, agriculture, utilities and easements, vacant or undeveloped land. So here the comprehensive plan does not have any kind of industrial district, meaning that if at some point if the city wants to enact any kind of zoning regulation for an anticipated industrial plant or business, we would actually have to go back and amend the comprehensive plan before we could actually make any kind of zoning law, ordinances or regulations for that. The city is, by statute, also authorized to create a planning and zoning commission. Because Roman Forest is a general law municipality, it's not required to do so. And if it does wish to enact a planning and zoning commission, it can comprise of the actual council itself. But their authority is essentially for recommending actions to the city council. It's recommending boundaries for the zoning and what appropriate regulations there might be for each district. The zoning commission will not actually inherently have any kind of power to approve or enact the actual ordinance or any kind of regulation, but they can recommend it to the city council and then approve it or go back and deny based on a certain number of votes. The zoning commission is, even though they don't actually enact the policies, they are still required to follow the rules of the Texas Open Meetings Act. They're required to have public hearings. They are required to provide the same notice requirements that any other kind of council meeting and open those to the public. And there are several other regulations that the commission might have to get into, which I'll get into in a little bit. But essentially, for all intents and purposes, their meetings can't be behind closed doors. They have to be open. They have to adhere to the rules and regulations as the council. There's also, the city has the ability to create a board of adjustment. Again, it's not a requirement to create a board of adjustment, but for a type A general law city, but the statute authorizes the city to create a board of adjustment if they so choose. A board of adjustment is essentially an appeal board. It's the first line of appeal if there is any kind of complaint or issue that property owners might have with decisions that the council has approved through the ordinance. They can bring them first to the Board of Adjustments to hear any kind of appeals. They can also, if there's any petitions for variance or an application for special exceptions, those would be brought to the Board of Adjustment. Specific rules with regard to that is that they are appointed by a governing body and comprise at least 5 members. And the Board of Adjusters is also authorized to adopt rules, but those rules for how they will decide items, how they'll be going about making the decisions, and essentially what they see as the correct interpretation of the zoning ordinance laws. However, those rules do need to be approved by City Council. again, because the city of Roman Forest is a general law city, again, just like the planning commission, the council can serve as the board of adjusters. City staff also has a role in all of this, and they don't have the power to make any kind of policy, but they do have a requirement to ensure that anything that council has discussed or planning commission has discussed with regard to a proposed ordinance is compatible with the comprehensive plan, and essentially serve as a liaison between the public and the council in day-to-day business, ensuring that the regulations that were enacted by the council are being adhered to and giving information based on that information to the public when it's required. Or in certain times, if there's plat applications or specific use exceptions, variances, whatnot, assist with essentially in ensuring that those applications come from the property owners into the city council and that they're done so correctly. So essentially the zoning ordinance, once now that we have a comprehensive plan, the city can enact a essentially all-encompassing zoning ordinance that will define each category and create certain regulations per each category. And it will create a map so the property owners, citizens understand where each zone is located, what homes or what businesses are located in what zone, and what uses are restricted or authorized. Just giving a few examples on what kind of regulations the city's authorized to enact. It can be with regard to buildings, it could be the height, number of stories, size of buildings and other structures, how much of a lot might be authorized in a residential area, or how much of a lot might be authorized in a commercial property, different sizes of the yards or any kind of open spaces, the population density, and essentially the use, location and use of the buildings within those zones. Procedurally, there are specific steps that the council or the council should choose as part of the zoning ordinance to create a comprehensive planning and zoning commission. There are specific procedures that must be followed and adhered to. Any kind of regulation must be adopted through a local ordinance. It has to be finally approved by city council itself, not just through the commission, if the commission is separate from city council. The commission council is still required to conduct public hearings and publish timely notice of the public hearings, at least for any kind of public hearing regarding enacting a zoning ordinance. It has to be published at least 15 days prior to the date of the hearing. It has to be published in the official newspaper in the city, as well as posted on the internet website. The council is also required to provide notice to any potentially affected properties that are within 200 feet of any proposed regulation. And this comes down to the line of not just enacting an initial zoning ordinance, but any kind of acts that might subsequently come on amending or making any kind of changes, additions to subsequent ordinances. Anytime there might be a public hearing on it, the city is required to provide written notice to the property owners that are within 200 feet of the property which the change is proposed. And as I said, it's a requirement to follow the regulations of the Texas Open Meetings Act. These are very important requirements, because if any of these requirements are not followed, the ordinance would be considered null and void. Should the city choose to create and appoint a zoning commission, the zoning commission, as I said, is not going to be an actual governing body, but it will be a recommending body. They will create essentially a report to submit to council that goes over all the recommendations, and essentially would create a proposed ordinance and a recommendation of what needs to be done and what should go forward in each specific zone. The city council, once they receive that initial report, they conduct a public hearing and can either approve or disapprove the commission's recommendations. If there is a specific separate commission, the council's power is essentially limited to either approving or disapproving. If there needs to be changes, or if it can't be approved as written, and there are additions that would require essentially the commission to go back, redraft, and hold another hearing again to enact that, which is oftentimes why it might make more sense for smaller cities to essentially just have the city council act as the commission. However, there are benefits to having a separate commission as just additionally simply more eyes on the topic. It's not limited to council members. They can appoint members, citizens from the residents of the city, and if that's the desire, and there are certainly benefits to that. Approval, generally the city only needs a simple majority. Denial, on the other hand, takes a 3/4 majority of council to overrule any kind of recommendation that's put forward. Property owners, citizens can also protest once a public hearing is being set and a proposed regulation has been sent through written notice to potentially affected property owners. Property owners have a right to make an official protest of the proposed ordinance and present those protests to council. If a protest is signed by the owners of at least 20% of the area, of either the areas of the lots or land covered by the proposed change, or the area of the lots or land immediately joining, or essentially the proposed change up to 200 feet around the property. If there has been an official protest put forward by the property owners at the public hearing, then the city council's approval goes from being just approval by a simple majority to approval being required by a 3/4 majority. As I stated, that it has to follow the comprehensive plan. So as of now, we have the 10 categories that were put together in the comprehensive plan that was adopted in September. Should the city wish to create an additional district, such as, for example, an industrial district, it couldn't be done through ordinance. It would have to be, we would have to go back and amend the comprehensive plan first before any kind of ordinance or regulation could follow suit. However, one major point of note, the municipality cannot make the restrictions in its zoning retroactive. So there are, for example, some land use regulations for residential properties within the city. The city couldn't just essentially make those properties change immediately. Now, there is a timeline that the city could provide through the ordinance to eventually take any kind of grandfather property out of that if it is any kind of conflicting provision, but it couldn't be an immediate effect. And excuse me. That specifically is referred to as a legal non-conforming use. Essentially, is when a property owner is using a property in accordance with a already existing zoning ordinance, regulating any kind of residential or multifamily commercial property, so long as they are using it in conformance with the ordinance at the time prior to the change. It would not immediately affect that property, and that property would be considered a legal non-conforming use. Part of the zoning ordinance, however, the city is authorized to create a time limit on that, and essentially saying that the non-conforming use is going to terminate after X number of years, or X number of actions, or what have you, that would allow the property owner at least enough time to continue the use as it was originally developed or purchased, but would allow the property to eventually come within a conforming use if it's in those ordinances. Variances, I believe everybody's familiar with variances. We get them currently, but those are essentially if a property owner can show that there's an undue hardship or a unique hardship due to special circumstances, they can submit a variance application to either a board of adjustments, if a board of adjustments is created, or straight to City Hall if the board of adjustments is not created. And variances would be allowed on a case-by-case basis. However, no variance could overwrite the actual letter of the zoning regulation. It couldn't allow a direct conflict with what the law states as it's enacted, but it can be granted to allow minor alterations, such as a specific example we see a lot is setbacks. If a certain setback, if there's a setback required for residential homes that are different from multifamily homes or duplexes, quadplexes, there might be a room for variance in that circumstance if the property owner can show that they have a unique hardship that would essentially prevent them from following the specific setback law as it's applied. The hardships that the property owner has to show is that the property can't be used for its highest and best use, that there's some kind of financial or economic hardship preventing them from coming into conformity. Self-created hardships will apply as well as any kind of developmental objectives that might have already been enacted through a development agreement or essentially already put in place prior to the ordinance coming into law. Special exceptions are a little bit different from variances. Special exceptions are essentially premeditated exceptions that would be enacted, that would be written into the ordinance itself. It doesn't require a hardship, and it doesn't require any kind of burden of the property owner application. It's essentially it would require that the special exception falls within a category that was already anticipated. I'm sorry, I'm very allergic today. I had 2 bloody noses earlier today.
How many people drive up there?
But essentially, any kind of special exception, it has to be detailed through the Board of Adjustments or the City Council, saying what kind of conditions must be met and what standards must the property meet in order for a special exception to be applied. In addition to any kind of petition prior to the enactment of a protest, the property owners also have the ability to appeal decisions made by the Board of Adjusters, or if it's the case that the City Council is acting as the Board of Adjusters, they have the ability to appeal those decisions to a higher court. Essentially, it would require filing a petition in the district court, county court, or county court of law. It would have to be filed within 10 days after the date of the final decision, and any reviewing court would reverse the council or the Board of Adjusters' decision only if it determines that the council could have reached only one decision and used its discretion by reaching a different conclusion. Essentially, in enacting ordinances and zoning regulations, the local government, the city, is given a wide discretion. The courts are only going to overturn them if they're holding them to be unconstitutional and essentially have no resemblance of any kind of use in the manner in which that would support the health and welfare, morals, the general public of the city. So in the sense that there are appeal process, but the council, through statute by Texas law, is given a very wide berth in how they can and cannot regulate the zone within the city. Enforcement, essentially, the city has enforcement options that range from fines, imprisonment, it can be both, and they can also institute injunctive relief, such as requiring abatement or making corrective procedures for denying a certificate of occupancy so that the occupant's prevented, a stop work order stopping any kind of construction that might be used, or essentially being authorized to physically prevent any kind of unauthorized use of the property. That is essentially my 30,000-foot view of how they can be enacted. If I have any questions specifically from council, I can only actually discuss the items of council at this juncture. But if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
I think these questions would best be served in a workshop with council, but we can get into that tonight.
We can do it in a workshop with council. I've got quite a few questions.
I'm sure we all do, as I do too. I just don't know that we want to get into that.
Yeah, I mean, if you have, absolutely, we can do.
I think the next thing we need to do is.
I was going to say the next.
Yeah.
I would say the workshop is the next step to see, does the city want to create a planning board? Does the city want to create a board of adjusters? What does the city envision a comprehensive zoning ordinance looking like?
I've got a list of questions that would probably take us another hour, so.
Absolutely.
I'm thinking if the council agrees, I'm thinking a workshop.
I would agree.
Open meeting workshop.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody good with that?
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I guess just a quick clarification for audience that the zoning is not intended to be an HOA. Nobody's talking about what color roof you can have,
No.
or what color you can paint your house, or what plants you can put in your front yard. That is not the intent of this.
It is separate from any kind of restrictive covenants.
And it's not retroactive.
Correct.
That's right. Mr. Francis, thank you so much for the presentation. So you got our mind going now. So I look forward to the workshop. We need to get that scheduled probably soon after the holidays, Scott. Can, if council's available between now and Christmas for a, I mean, we're basically up on Thanksgiving, so if we're,
Y'all just tell us some dates.
send an email to council, get some dates down. If we'd like to meet one evening before Christmas, I don't have a problem.
You're
And
gonna be,
I'll forward this to Scott as well.
Mhm.
but you're gonna be out of the country for a couple of weeks, Scott?
Yes, the week of Thanksgiving next week, and then the following week until I'm back on December 5th.
Okay, so that gives us basically most of next month ahead of Christmas. Let's see if we can put something together, because I've got some questions I know we all do.
Absolutely.
Council meeting's on the 15th, that we can move that next month.
Oh, that's right, we did meet after that.
Yeah.
We
Okay,
do it that
thank you,
week
Mr.
later in
Francis.
the
So,
week.
council, at this time, we're gonna take a brief break. If the time is 7:22, be back in your seats by 7:30, please.
Just gonna say, we might do it that week of the meeting, do the meeting on Monday and the workshop on Wednesday or something like that.
I'm not sure if you got
Okay, yes.
Thank you. I didn't see you here, but then I heard you.
I'll make the chili mild and get some bottled hot sauce and.
So thanks for coming.
When we do our lunch thing.
Yeah, send that.
Just so you know.
We're back in session, time is 7:30.
Okay.
Moving on, I'm sorry, there was no action, that was the presentation only on 15, except that we are looking at setting a workshop date. 16, discuss, consider approving ordinance 545-26. This is ordinance City Council, City of Roman Forest, amending the city's operating budget for this fiscal year. You're up. I didn't know who to point at.
It's all right.
It was supposed to be Scott. Okay, these are the amendments that, like we did for last year, we just wrote over like the capital outlays, but if the capital outlay, most of the capital outlay and yeah, the capital outlay for like the, committed to the roads, we have the 22,000 that we gotta roll over, and the 10,000 for the Hubbard Park, just. I don't know what to say.
So you're going to look at 10,000 from that part to what?
I mean, we're just, it's the 10,000 that in the capital outlay, that we have, into just, it stays where it was.
So it's just carrying over.
It's just carrying over. I say roll over, it's carrying over. Sorry. Carry over, it's carrying over.
I see it.
And they're all staying in the same code, these carryovers from one year to the next?
Yes, sir.
They're just unspent?
Yes. There's that budget adjustment register.
Hey, Maria, what's our total rollover?
The total rollover, it would be $354,466.89.
That's a complete total.
Yes.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that's all money available to spend. Some of them, they're all in specific codes.
Would you pick that one again?
354,466.89. It should be on the page right here, you should have it.
I think you're good. We have any questions? We know where to find you?
I also have another thing about the FEMA.
Oh, yes, go ahead.
Yes, on the FEMA, we're transferring from the FEMA, out of the FEMA code into the general fund. And I show you where the, actual line item that we're transferring it to as well. From the 300 to the 100s, which is the general fund.
Yeah.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance 545-26.
Motion on the floor, Councilman Mullane to approve. Sorry, David, I lost my ordinance. Stand by. To approve ordinance 545-26 as presented. Do I have a second on this motion? Councilman Sanders, seconds. Any other discussion or questions, council? All in approval? Show it as unanimous. Thank y'all for putting all that together. Item 17, discuss and consider approval of the purchase of new park equipment. He wasted no time getting that.
Did not, the long-awaited
Yes, sir, it is.
recommendation for new park equipment. In the packet, I did include all of the proposals that we had, the ones that I showed you last month and put on the board last month, all the pictures. They're also included, but the one that is on top, that is the option 3 for Craftsman, is the one that we are going to recommend to be voted on and accepted tonight. That's the one with the 6 different slides on it, the monkey bars, the wall, the climbing apparatus. It also, if you look at the page right after that, it also has the diagram with the special needs apparatuses that we're also going to purchase with that money. Also, how they're going to extend the playground where it'll all be one big playground. Also with the mulch included for the old one, the new one, and then they're going to put us in compliance over with the existing swing set that we're out of compliance on right now. So altogether, that package was $110,853. I'm asking you to accept this bid from Craftsman tonight. At the end of November, the prices do go up. So I did include the contract for you to look at in your packet. But this is the one from administration that we are recommending tonight.
And where are we covering the difference between the budgeted amount and the actual cost?
It was in the budget amendments that Marie had that we just did. That's why we waited till tonight to bring it to you.
Yeah, that would actually be,
The carryover from the capital outlay for parks and recs, the 37,000. We already have, how much in there? 40-something thousand in there already.
Right.
And then we're gonna carry over 37, and then we have the 25,000 of surplus left over that we're carrying over as well.
Oh, from the surplus goes, okay.
Yeah.
so
And that's what I get it to the 110,000.
Okay.
You know, out of all the presentations that Scott brought to us on the equipment, this was the one that stood out as the best for the money.
You know, where I've lived out here for a long time, I've seen park equipment come and go, it's wore out, replaced by every 20 years. And, after it's been worn out a little bit, I think citizens deserve the best, park equipment for money that we can provide for them, because a lot of people use that park. They're going cheap, like a lot of previous administrations did. I think we're going to get more bang for their buck. They definitely deserve it.
Craftsman is also the company that the city used when we did the splash pad. They're the company that built the splash pad.
Yes, that's right.
Long before Scott arrived.
Yes.
Mayor, can I make a proposal?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna propose we accept the Craftsman bid of $110,853.20 for the playground equipment to be installed in our city park.
All right, sir. Motion on the floor, Councilman Sanders, to go with the Craftsman bid in the amount stated for the park equipment. Do I have a second on that motion?
I'll second.
Councilman Moore, second.
Before we,
Any other discussion? Go ahead, Councilman.
so with the money that we've transferred and the money we had, we're really close to what their number is. We're not foreseeing any change orders, any potential for, we didn't expect to find this tree stump, or we didn't expect to find this water line, and it's an extra $20,000 now?
No, sir, we already took the tree stumps out in the new spot where they're doing it. We also took the park bench out already, so we've already done the pre-planning of what.
And they've done their site walk, and they know what's out there, because they're putting in the mulch around the existing equipment and making some of those improvements around there. There's not gonna be any question of what the existing conditions are or anything else. Just coming from a construction background, it's rare not to have change orders.
They guaranteed me that the price that they put on the contract is what we would pay, and all the things on the contract would be on there.
Understood?
Sounds like Councilman Davis has been on a few construction projects.
On either side.
All right, I do have a motion and a second on the floor to accept the bid from Craftsman at the amount stated for the park equipment. Any other discussion, council? All in favor of approval? 1, 2, 3, 4, it is unanimous. Thank you, council, for that. Yes, it is. All right, moving on, council. When can we expect to see the results? Tomorrow morning?
No, sir, but they, he said probably it would be in by end of February, 1st of March.
Okay.
Harry, probably depending on weather.
Just in time for spring, there.
It's gonna be the spring unveiling, yes, sir.
All right, cool. Moving on to item, this will be item 18, discuss, consider approval of Chapter 12, Environment and Natural Resources, Article 4, on-site sewage disposal.
Yes, sir, with the passing of the contract with the Thornberry Development, as we had to put in there about the septic systems that would have to go, we did not have a septic ordinance in place. Mr. Parton, Josh, and I have been working on this for quite a few weeks now. So what we bring to you in the ordinance is one that's coming forward that will follow Montgomery County guidelines, that Montgomery County will be the approval of approving the permits, and after it goes certified, not the city. We will not certify it, Montgomery County will. We will approve the building permit that has it in it. Josh has I think it's on like page 3, there's 9 steps of everything that has to be done for the builder as they come in, that they have to do through Josh and the permitting process before it can even go there. There's also soil samples that have to be done. What's that called?
Percolation test.
Percolation test, thank you. All those things that have to be done before anything can be approved by us, and then also approved through the county, and then for the home builder. along with what you put into the contract about where they can be placed and where they can't be placed.
So, a couple of questions. I didn't see the Montgomery County rules that we're referring back to, that they have to permit through the county. But in those Montgomery County rules, are there, who can do the percolation test, and is there a certification required for that company? So how do we know it's legit?
The percolation test, I don't believe that they are actually required by TCEQ. The actual installations, maintenances, inspections, all those things are where you usually certified. Percolation tests are pretty standard. My experience, health departments and stuff like that did those, but they'll all be on there, engineered, and the plans and everything will be engineered, stamped, and all that. So you're going to have your steps and your steps in place to make sure everything is done accordingly and properly. And a step further, Montgomery County's regulations also actually come from the state regulations and laws. So it's not just like we're taking just from the county, they're adopted from the state, kind of like our other existing ordinances we are taking from the state.
All right, and then the letter regarding floodplain determination, I didn't see anything that prohibits construction in the floodplain. So is that again part of the county that says that if it's in the floodplain, you can't use a septic system?
So it doesn't necessarily disqualify you. Floodplain, if you're in a floodplain, it may change the type of system you put in. It'll be more expensive, more than likely. You can probably be disqualified. I don't know the disqualification on that because in my researches, it was said that you would raise certain things, you would change out what kind of system you're putting in, add certain pieces of equipment to it,
I mean, just
to keep you in compliance in floodplains.
Actually, from a health and well-being of the neighborhood, right, you don't want it flooded and coming out.
Yeah. But yeah, all that stuff it's the determination letter, you're gonna get that regardless of whether you're in or out of the floodplain. If you're in it, it's just gonna change what you have to do.
C on page 4, all construction, alteration, extension, repair, or inspection of any on-site sewage facility must be carried out by a TCEQ licensed installer. So that includes inspections.
Well, the inspections are included, yes.
Everything. From the construction to the alteration, extension, repair, or
Yeah, and it's an annual inspection.
yes, so regulate that out. How is the city going to regulate that? How does the county regulate that? How does the county ensure that that annual inspection is done?
Yeah, so, on our end, we'll probably help them out a little bit on that, but they do have, they've got in their permitting processes, they've got I guess, kind of like I don't know what they call it, but in my mind, it's kind of like a invoice alert, like it automatically every year notifies them, lets them know it's due. And kind of like whenever I worked in wastewater, so we had permits that were due at a certain time, they would contact sometimes, we would go, if we didn't reach out, they would reach out in time, or around that time. As far as our regulating it goes, if we want to try to put something in place, we could try to, but we're not going to be able to. To me, it would be more of a waste of our resources because we're not collecting anything off of this. So for us to do anything and for us to like a system that would automatically notify us when it comes up, for me, it's going to be a spreadsheet just on my own personal to keep in there.
Is the county right now, and I can easily find out, and I should have, is the county keeping up with the annual inspections required?
For their stuff currently, we don't have anything in yet for them.
No, but they are keeping
Yes.
up with it? So an annual doesn't turn into 18 months? Okay, because that's my fear on this.
Yeah, I mean, what happens if they don't get it inspected? It's not like you're gonna go shut off their water.
Well, exactly. So that
Well, and
concerns me.
that's part of the thing, so we'll know at some point, because at some point, especially as the systems start to age, if they don't get it inspected, let's say the county does fall behind, if there's a change in employment or something, and somebody misses it, you're gonna eventually know on those aging systems for sure, because something's gonna go out, and then they're gonna be required to get it fixed, and then the county's gonna get their stuff in. But regardless of that, you're still gonna have them regulating it, they're gonna be monitoring, as far as keeping up with that.
That's the only part of this that concerns me is when I say, because I wrote a note, regulate how, enforcement how.
So-
what is our enforcement on that?
So
What is-
for
yeah.
us, if it breaks ordinances, it'll follow any penalties and fines, the prices of the fines and stuff, it doesn't even determine yet. But, it'll be regulated on that end, just like any other water ordinance. So like out there, we'll give them a notice to get it fixed or inspected. That's why when it keep something in here for us as far as that goes. It just won't be a time notification, it'll just be me being able to go back like I do on some of our other permits currently. And then, once they get their notice, if it's not fixed in the time that is allotted, or inspected, or whatever needs to be done, then we'll start the citation processes. They'll probably be a little more stringent though than some of these others, because it is a health factor.
That would be a civil citation, Chief? Chief?
It says, I'm looking at that now, it says in the penalties on page 5, it looks like the penalties obviously are related to the Texas Water Code.
Mhm.
But it says in the last sentence, it says further, an owner may be assessed a fine for each day that the on-site sewage facility remains unrepaired.
Right,
So it's
and
more
again,
stringent.
the enforcement's gonna be the tough part, right? So whether that's through our code enforcement or that's through the county, you're gonna write them a citation, but they're not gonna stop using it. And if it's overflowing and disturbing all of their neighbors, all we have is a civil court, not a criminal court, that you could stop them from using it, right? So I'm just trying to understand worst case scenario, not expecting it to be a problem, but if one out of
This will
500
become-
becomes a problem, it's still a problem.
Some of these will become a worst case scenario, I promise you that.
Well, absolutely.
It's going.
Somebody's not gonna have the money for the inspection or the maintenance or something, and they're just gonna let it go, and they're gonna live with it, but then their neighbors have to live with it as well.
Because we don't know that it's in disrepair without an annual inspection that's enforced. We do not know that it's in disrepair until a neighbor reports a problem. That could be well past. Yeah, so we really need to look at the annual inspection and enforcement of that inspection. The repair comes way after there's a problem.
And there are plenty of communities dealing with these, right? I'm not saying it's not
Yeah.
anything we can't get past, we just wanna make sure that we've got the process in place to prevent issues before they occur, and we're not scrambling when we've got somebody who simply refuses to comply.
Exactly.
Can we require a permit, yearly permit on this? And the yearly permit has to be a letter from the inspector who inspects the system every year, tell us that is correct?
So I've actually got included in there that all inspections, not just from your initial install, but all inspections, including future annuals, are required to come to us.
Okay.
So we're
So-
talking,
It looks like.
So we're gonna have a permit fee.
Is that $10 fee that I've seen in there for administrative?
That was something that Greg actually found on that, and I don't really know exactly how that plays in. That, to me, that wasn't for that, but that was something I didn't actually, deal with on that part. That was more Greg on that.
just realistically, the current agreement with Thornberry is 135 lots, I think,
Mhm.
plus 15 that aren't owned by them, thereabouts. But there's another 350 that are out in PUD 5 that have no utilities, and it's gonna apply to that as well.
I don't think we should depend on the county system to regulate and inspect, or to make sure that the inspections are being done. We need our own system to make sure that these inspections are being
And
done.
we just can't do them ourselves.
I understand.
No, I don't think we want to get into doing the
No,
inspections, we
we
just
want-
want
we-
record that they've been done.
But we want to make sure that they are in compliance and that they have been done.
I am currently trying to figure out a better system than just a spreadsheet. The problem is, we don't have anything in play for any of them that just automatically notifies. That is something that we have to eventually look into, not just for this, but for signs and other ones that have annual stuff that we have to go back and forth.
Right.
So it's not just this one that we have to figure that out.
If a yearly permit is required, you're gonna have to come to you with the approved letter from the inspector certifying the system is correct. That's the only way I can see a yearly permit fee for that. I mean, it's $10 or $20, whatever.
Whatever the administrative cost would be for you
I think
to,
we just talking about the
to
training.
you
Either way,
to allow.
We've got the administrative cost initially in there, it's just, the future gathering of stuff that may be something that we have to further, look into to modify, critique, make it more refined. This is a new ordinance, we're gonna have things we gotta work out on.
Well, see, what I'm saying is the city should not have to be on site for anything. What it is,
We won't be on site.
it's them coming to you, getting their annual permit, with proof that their system has been inspected by TCEQ.
Yeah, and we won't be on site, it'll be just like any other inspection report I get, Bureau Veritas or whatever, in county or whatever. They'll email it to me and I'll attach it to whatever permit is in place.
What do you think, Scott?
Josh, have you checked with the environmental to see what kind of, what they can help with, if they just fail to get it cleaned out and it just keeps stinking?
So at some point, if they do refuse, you will be able to shut off certain utilities like the water. That's how it functions. You'd have to be able to, because otherwise they could just continue to use it.
They want to check on them to see what kind of steps you can take with them.
I have one other question. We have the mud and the PUD. I know they furnish septic system. Have they approved the septic system ordinance that we've talked about?
That's part of the process that we go through at the beginning with the PUD, where they have to give a denial letter to even be considered for it, that they can't get sewer at that house.
Their only role is that they cannot provide service.
I mean, have we talked to them?
Yes, we've been talking to MUDs, PUDs, the county, and all the.
Anyway, Scott, your thoughts on that? You understand where I'm going with this? We have to have a way to regulate the
Well,
angle.
one of the things that Marie was working on with Josh is the Tyler system that, the city adopted about a year and a half ago might have a,
Accounts receivable part that we need to
yeah,
get.
accounts receivable process that would keep up with that for us and give us a report on that. Right now, Tyler has not given us a final answer on if that is something that we can do. And if they can, what are we gonna have to pay to turn that function on? So these are things we're looking into. Otherwise, it goes back to what Josh said, we're back on a spreadsheet, and we got 3 people all keeping up with it, keeping track of it as they build a home back in that section.
I mean, I do like the ordinance. I do like the ordinance, except I don't see anything in place to make sure that the maintenance is done. That's the only thing I don't see.
Yes, and when we put this together with Greg and Josh, one of the things we talked about is we needed an ordinance in place as we start having these conversations with whoever Brian's fixing to bring forward as the builder, whether that's D.R. Horton or whether that's Stonefield or whoever that is. As we can add to the ordinance as we go. We already have the 5 houses that are on the ground with this already, but what we don't have is we do have time on our side to get things in place before we start building in a new section.
And it does say there has to be an annual inspection, it just doesn't go through the process of how we're going to do that with the county for us. So agreeing with Scott that to get something in place is better than nothing, and then to go back and amend it to clarify how that annual inspection.
Yes, sir. We were prepared to go back and add stuff. We just wanted to get something in place as we start these meetings with Brian and whoever he has as a builder, so we can make sure they understand what the city expectations are as they go to start building.
Absolutely agree with you. Yeah, you do, Councilman. Greg, I kept you here to talk about this. Your thoughts?
Yeah, so a couple of things. The $10 fee that's in there is a pass-through that goes to a state agency.
Okay.
A research. That's all that is.
That's all that is.
Yeah. The other, as far as, they do require in the recorded document that the county will have for each of these, they do require a yearly inspection. In some way, somehow, you can tie that to where they have to come through the city as part of that yearly inspection, where they have to prove to you that that's being done. They can put it in the floodplain. They can't put it in the floodway. There's specifics. The only system you can put in the floodplain is in the road system, sprinklers, which is typically what most of these are going to be, the one that might be on that. I think most of this, I think you're dealing with the tract home builders. You have experience with that same builder. So I would say the first thing, one of the things they're going to ask is on a perk test, but we do one every 5 lots instead of one for every lot. Those are decisions that have to be made here, or let the county do that. But I don't know that I would do a perk test on every lot. I agree. Just so that each home has their own standalone system. They're not relying on anybody else.
And do you do that after the builder has made the pad ready, just knowing that what they did on the other homes in that area is they came and they built the lots up 2 or 3 feet, and if they're not using a soil that drains well when they're building it up, then your perk test of the native soil is gonna be invalidated by whatever they put on top of it.
Yeah, and that's gonna be, you're gonna need your fill pad, your slopes, everything that's going to go and fill, that's not gonna pass a perk test because there's gonna be too much clay. But those are, the requirements are a perk test for every lot, for every system. And I would agree with that. I would agree with it.
Hey, Greg, do all these homes out there currently provide water, or are they providing to the access?
Yeah, they'll have there's a water line out in front, so it's public water and private sewers.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I do not have a problem with council approving this ordinance as is and amending some of it, or not this ordinance, amending the current ordinance chapter there as this is. I think we need to get something in place. As long as we can put a system in place to make sure that.
I will
we don't
add
have-
Chris on that. I think that the county, I'll talk to the county about that specific detail, but they already do have it marked. They've got something in place that anytime an address in the Roman Forest city limits pops up in their system, that they notify us first, so we won't run into a situation where somebody tries to install something after they've gotten past a certain point that they shouldn't have. So I'll ask them if they could also make that same adjustment for the inspections if possible.
Okay.
And then one other thing is, precinct 4 is a little different than the rest. The county requires the commissioner's office to be notified and to approve on-site sewer facilities that are being put in. Whether the city wants to go 100% with the county and require the commissioner's office, so that there's no issue at the county where, well, in a special situation inside precinct 4, we don't have to do that. So it's up to, I think that's, but it's written in there that the commissioner's office has to sign off on, has to know about it.
That's good. Yeah, so that puts it over into Victoria's office, and Jaime or Carlos will do the inspection. And I like that.
My opinion is, don't change anything at the county, let them do
Yeah,
their
let them do
stuff
that.
and just add a notification.
Okay.
Mayor, I'd like to approve chapter 12, environmental and natural resources, article 12, on-site sewage disposal.
All right. Motion on the floor, Councilman Mullane to approve. This is numbered ordinance 002-25. This
Yeah, I was
is
looking for that, I couldn't see it.
Oh, it's okay. This is an amending chapter 12, environment and natural resources, clause in our, which ordinance? Where's our ordinance number on this? That we're amending.
It's out of the whole chapter 12, under Article 4.
Chapter 12, Article 4.
We're making an addition, we're not amending. We're making an addition.
to chapter 12.
Adopting chapter 336 of the Texas Health and Safety Code. Okay, motion on the floor, Councilman Mullane, to approve the amendment, addition,
The addition to chapter 12 with the addition of ordinance for Article 4.
okay, to chapter 12, Article 4, as presented.
Yes, sir.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Councilman Sanders, second. Any other discussion? All in favor of approval? It is unanimous.
Can I just say something about this? Did you vote?
Yes.
There's been a lot of time that was put into this one to get this, just to bring forward. Josh was a big part of that through what he does and what he has experience in before he moved here. And Greg did, just a phenomenal job of going back and looking at other cities, trying to make sure that we had things that matched up. So just for both of those guys for what they did to contribute to this, a lot of work went into it. So thank you to them.
Yes, sir, did. Thank you for bringing that up, sir. Council, number 19, discuss and consider approval of, Mr. Phipps, you're actually good to go if you want to go, sir.
Hate to miss the towing order.
Yes, sir, what do you do? Okay. You can stay if you want.
No, no.
Moving on.
Your car was just towed.
Moving on, your car was towed, now you want to
Yeah.
stay?
Under the old one.
I want to be able to say I didn't know anything about it.
First one, I guess.
All right, council, item 19, discuss, consider approval of the proposed Roman Forest Police Department towing ordinance. The one I read, and then he hands me a new one.
Yes. So I handed, or somebody handed everybody a revised version, which is much less pages. So before I start talking about it, I want y'all to grab the one that I handed you and turn to page 13 and correct a typo. In the middle of the page, at the top of the middle of the page where it breaks, where it says $278, change that to $275. Page 13,
I do.
in the middle, where it says incident management tow, change that to $275.
Repeat that, what did you point out?
Page 13.
Looking in the copy.
Right there.
I got it, yeah. We've established we're top middle of this.
Okay, so I just wanted to get that out of the way before I started, because I would forget later on.
I don't think that $10.
So in this one, we do not have our own towing ordinance. We adopted, years ago, we adopted the county ordinance, and by that, we have no local control over what the ordinance is. The sheriff can change the policies, and they might not fit our beliefs and all that. So I like the idea of having local decisions on what we do. And I love to do local business. I like to talk to, that's which I have, local record companies. And I also don't like the idea of a person, let's say a resident had to get a car towed for whatever reason, had to drive to Conroe to pick it up. So I like the idea of the local. That could change, it can go either way. So local control is one reason I want to do this. And another thing is the billing for the record companies and everything would be coming to us instead of going to the county. So multiple reasons. Plus another reason is it's done by app. It's been proven in Splendora and Pat Village to be really good. And I've talked to several tow companies. The app goes directly from the officer on the side of the road directly to the tow company that's next up on the rotation list. And they have to respond within 90 seconds, I think. And the officer doesn't have to wait for dispatch, wait for the tow companies to get in touch with dispatch and find out it's confirmed that they're on their way. If they don't respond within 90 seconds, it moves to the next rotation. So there's a lot of aspects of this that I really do like. It makes it better for those unfortunate that have to have their vehicles towed. So there's a lot of reasons that I want to have our own towing ordinance. And the one that we sent you in the beginning was a copy and paste of Splendora's towing ordinance, but Splendora uses the chip system. I don't like that because in the past we've had tow companies rushing to get to the scenes.
Causing accidents.
Yeah, and we had lots of resident complaints about the tow trucks speeding through the city because naturally they only have 15 minutes to get there. They want to get there in time to get the chip. So what we used to do is just ask them to meet at the park. But when the county changed their rotation, it turned out to be really good. We didn't have that anymore. So Splendora kept the chip system when they adopted their ordinance, and I didn't want to do that. I want to keep the rotation. So we started with the changes, what we could see, and changed it from the chip system to the rotation system. but we missed a lot. So, we looked at Pack Village's ordinance after we sent this in the packet. So, we basically redacted a whole bunch of stuff in the 32-page document we gave you. So we took out a whole bunch of stuff that pertained to the chip type system, leaving only
The rotation.
the rotation is 14 pages. So, really nothing new in what I resubmitted to you than what was here. It's just a lot removed. So, I mentioned I talked to a few record companies. I've got nothing but supportive comments from them. One of them's in the audience, and I would love for y'all to ask him questions, or if he has anything to say about it, with the mayor's permission, I'd love for you to give him an opportunity.
Well, it has to be these last two people fishing.
So, I talked to, Jeff, Captain was talking to Slinky, who owns one of the prominent record services here, and I've been talking to Glenn, and between the feedback we're getting, I've talked to also Jeremy Wright, who owns one, and Dalton, or I think I talked to TJ, and they own another. And, so I've gotten a few comments here and there, but mostly from Slinky and Glenn. And me and Captain have been editing this thing all the way up to just a couple hours ago to give you this final document. And I think we got it to where it needs to be. And I guess I'm open to questions, and I'd love for you to hear from one of our tow truck companies.
How many vehicles do we tow a year?
Yeah.
That I don't know. I should know that, but I don't know.
Just give me a ballpark figure.
100, maybe? I don't know.
Are they largely related to just incidents where the individual has been arrested or a wreck? I mean, I don't think we've towed many individuals for like parking on the street or things like that.
No, so usually it's a crash, or it's incident to an arrest. We have a policy that we do still allow for a little bit of officer discretion for situational things, but basically if they don't have a driver's license and insurance, we tow them. And those would be included in this. If they get arrested, that would go. Plus, if they run off the ditch and just need to be winched out of the ditch, that's covered in here too. It's a lesser fee.
Or do a dukes of hazard over the bridge?
Yes, and that happens.
So what about location?
Y'all know that?
We got the rotation.
Location of storage lots?
What's the name of your tow company?
What's the name of your towing company?
You can,
And did you look over these fees?
do what?
Did you look over the fees?
Yes,
Did you have a problem with any of that?
we're paying for Splendora, we're paying for Pat Village, we're paying for the county.
Say that again?
We're basically, we're paying Splendora, we're paying Pat Village, and I mean, the county is lesser, and we also pay state taxes.
Okay.
I mean, we're 4 layered in on our permits. Like
So
I
I'm
said,
looking,
state.
I'm looking at it as roughly, they're gonna pay $1,415, correct? Up front, roughly, okay. And you're saying that you're gonna allow 20 record services to be a part of this. Let's say you get 20 records, all 20 of them apply. You tow 100 cars, we're gonna get 2 cars in a year, 3 cars in a year. That's not gonna pay for that $1,400.
Are you asking about how many records we actually need, that we don't need 20 and maybe we need
Well,
5?
it says that you can allow, they're gonna allow 20 to jump on rotation.
Well, that's right there. I mean, we have the option to change it now, so do we really need 20 record services?
It says up to 20. I think the eligible within the rules are 24. Am I correct? 24
Right, currently,
records,
right now,
but
there's 23 services.
23 in the area that we're wanting to do local business with. And for example, Pat Village only has 10 companies signed up for theirs, which has pretty much the same availability. And
Splendora has 14.
Splendora has 14 or so.
Not everybody participates.
Well, understood.
So
Yeah.
we're walking up to 20, but
And I'm
it's.
guessing at the 100, it might be 2 or 3
Oh,
times.
that's more than 100.
So do we have to allow up to 20 though, or can we set the cap at 15 and make it more
I talked
viable for the
I talked
record
to Lynn,
purposes?
and
I
Lynn
don't see
don't
where
think
you
it's
can
necessary to put a
shop the record service out. If you got 23 that are eligible, you can't tell.
But you
15
can say the
that are-
first 15 that
You
apply.
can't tell the other 50 because they're gonna sue the city.
Well, I think
Because
if
you're not
if
doing an
you're-
obligation to come out here and tell.
Yeah, I
But you
think if
can't tell them that the first 15 get the choice and after
Because
that?
the 16th one that wants to do it, he's gonna sue the city and say that you're.
Well, you're gonna have the same thing if you cap it at
No.
20 though. What's the difference if you have 24?
Well, there's only 23 companies in the area, and capping at 20, but I'm okay with according to Glenn, he said just remove the cap. We can just draw a line through it right now, and we'll remove it.
Let me ask you this, if we're opening up to 20 record companies,
Yeah.
but not all of them are not all of them are gonna apply for this, are they?
Only
In your
probably
experience,
7
like
or
how
10.
many is gonna do it? About 7?
7 or 10, we can, that
Well,
would
there you go.
be.
There you
The self-balances itself in my eyes. I mean, we're not in this industry for just capitalizing on the misfortune. We also, our profile it fits our profile to own the rotation, to having, where we know when we're gonna be coming up, and we can actually operate for our household and stuff like that on the side. That's the way we've been working at Village of Logan County. When doors on the match, so whenever they drop a call, you have like 7 trucks are allowed to be on the scene, and it's luck of the draw. And we put our tip in the hat, back to me, that profile is outdated.
I'm glad you abandoned the chip portion of that.
Yeah.
Because I don't need 5 to 10 records sitting on my bedroom community street at 2 AM in the morning
Right.
with all their lights going.
Do we have a distance requirement maximum for the storage lot so that we're not towing somebody to say Willis or Galveston?
Yes, that was one of those important things to me, is to do local business and to not give any to people that might get towed. So we put in there East Montgomery County. So it has to be in East Montgomery County. Huh?
You said the date's correct.
Well, we're gonna go with 275 because that's what everybody else was doing.
No,
and then
the
that
two-
fees, yeah, that fees come.
go. Yeah, Mitchell, that's actually written in the ordinance.
I missed it, I looked for it, I didn't see it, so.
275.
I saw that it had to be an approved storage lot, I just didn't see the distance or the location requirement.
Yeah, you can go.
That's part of what they take.
In East County.
This is what
That's
they
fine.
charge.
I just don't want somebody going down to say League City, which is.
If they say precinct 4, that goes all the way to town.
So currently, we're dealing with, at will of the sheriff department's code policy, and they have made 2 or 3 changes going back and forth, and some of the record companies are in uproar of some of the changes they made, and then they go back. So our officers get confused of what the real policy is. They're operating on what's best for the county, and I want to operate what's best for us.
Yeah. So leave it open, no cap.
Yeah, I can draw a line through that right quick.
So that's just B on 42-145.
Yeah, what page is it on?
Page 9, top of the page, B,
Yeah, page 9.
current
So we can-
rotation list
we
will
can cross
consist of
that.
a maximum of 20.
Just cross D out and leave C up to B, E up to C.
Which one was correct, Chief?
Page 9,
Scratch out B.
scratch out D, and then C, D, E, and F, and G will move up.
Correct, Chief.
Scratch out D.
Where did you see the location of the storage facility? Was it on-
A, it's A on page 9.
Record service must have
Record
its
service.
primary
Oh,
record
okay,
service
so
within the
Page
boundaries
9.
of East Montgomery County. It does say East.
Take out chips in page 7,
Page 7.
line A.
Still got chips in it?
Yep.
All I do is chips. Yeah, so chips won't be a thing at all.
Yeah, we don't, like I said,
So on page 7, I can just cross out the word
We don't need a
chips.
chip if you're on a rotation system.
yeah, there's no chipping on the rotation.
Okay.
The only thing that I think was overlooked, and I think Chief Hernandez, it was like in exigent circumstances, that they realized they did it. Like during the freeze, during the flood and stuff, they went on those situations because of the situation. What they implemented during those times is they went ahead and used their patent notice records that was on scene. the ones that not everybody got out, so it expedited that process, not having to worry about a rotation truck having to go from here to there. That was one thing that I noticed that was fixed, because they did try to do stable rotation during some disasters, but then after the fact, he went to that, which it made more sense on a situation during a flood or freeze.
Chief, your officers have discretion on the scene.
Yeah, so, yeah, there is a
They
reference
can
somewhere
vary,
in here. Yeah.
they can go outside of this.
So with our supervisor approval, we got a supervisor for A shift, supervisor for B shift, and we got me and captain at any time. We can always override in special circumstances. And there's something mentioned somewhere in here where there's some discretion.
So in practical terms, something happens, you call company one says, I'm not able to respond in a timely manner, you call company 2.
No, that's not how it works. So the normal, the app keeps track of it, who's next in line for the rotation. So they send out a notification that they got 90 seconds to hit yes. If they don't, then it goes to the next one, they hit yes. In a special circumstance,
90 seconds.
we may have.
Respond to the test.
I know, but it's a minute and a half to either respond or miss your opportunity.
But they know we're up, so that's why they watch.
Because each company may have 3 or 4 drivers, and they're all monitored.
All right. I mean, y'all know what
Well,
works.
some of these apps, man, back in the day, we had to listen to a scanner all night.
Man, if you can make that phone call and make it happen, I think we would all love that.
Yeah, one thing I don't want is put an officer in the position of being accused of favoritism to a certain record company.
Right.
So if Officer X, for the past special circumstances, always recommended his company, other companies are gonna come up and say, hey, something looks funny about your officer, you know, his company is buying him lunch all the time and they show favoritism to him. So I wanna have anything and everything in here on the officer level to not have any discretion at all. If they wanna use any kind of discretion, they need to call a supervisor to make sure that the situation justifies deviation.
I agree, Commissioner. Yeah, no, I agree.
See,
Councilman Warwick?
See, it needs to go through some more and take out the receiving a call from Rolling Forest Police Department. You're not calling them, you're actually texting them, so you need to put that on there, because I know record drivers, they're not the.
Right. We don't, what page are you
What's the
using?
number?
What page?
4C, where it says receiving a call from Rolling Forest Police Department.
I thought I changed all of that to notification.
That one says call.
Yeah, I must have missed that one. It was supposed to be changed to notification.
Page 4?
That means page 9.
Page 9.
4, section 4C.
Page 9, section 4.
Police officer on scene.
It says receiving a call.
Just how about receiving notification from the Rolling Forest?
Notification.
That way,
Yeah.
they won't drive.
Okay, that's easy.
One other thing with that app.
Trust me, they do.
Oh, I bet.
See, with that app, you have like on our rotation with the county, like sometimes we'll get called out for like help assist, change tires, stuff like that. But I'm mistaken, one of the things you'll be able to do with that app, instead of counting as a rotation for somebody, you will be able to send out a general dispatch to everybody that participates. So say if you got a locked child in a car or something, like a help assist like that, which it doesn't mean that the rotation, if you were to lock that in the rotation, it's usually by
So
the
the app has that ability?
I believe so. Topo should have that capability, instead of sending the next rotation out, if it's, said it's flat tire, somebody like that, where it's not gonna be a full tow, incident management scene, you'd be able to reach out to everybody as a general dispatch, and whoever wants to respond, yes. I mean, so, like, sometimes you get stuff to help people out, you know, we're realistic about it.
What he's talking about is those little favors that we ask, hey, can you help us get this kid out of the car or something like that? We can send a blanket text to everybody on the rotation. It doesn't take away from their rotation. And if they want to be kind and accept that assist, they can just say, okay, I'm on the way to accept it. So then it doesn't take them out of the rotation.
So that falls under officer supervisor discretion?
Yeah.
Okay, then that's fine.
Right. And that, you know, that wouldn't piss off, you know, half the records because they're coming just to help and just to be kind.
Supervisor discretion. Okay.
on the back end of the rotation program too with them. It shows us when we got our last one with that list. So we have like a history trail. And if I'm not mistaken, when the officer gets out there to do his paperwork with it, he's actually taking pictures of the vehicle. Whenever he takes possession, when we get there, we take pictures. So it shows a chain of custody across the board with the car. So this is the way y'all took possession of it, pass it to us, and we say this is how we got, when it comes to our stores. So it's kind of like a general liability bill.
Well, Mayor, I like this ordinance with the exception of, if we want to remove those items that we're striking out.
So Chief, there may be a couple of other places. Page 10, Article 6A also says call, first call place, so maybe there needs to be notification of that.
I guess we missed a few, so.
That's right.
I can just put here.
We can approve it with
any
the
reference
changes
to
noted.
calling, we're gonna say, change that to notification.
Notification.
Yeah.
What's
There you
the,
go. That would be
First call was there twice.
first notification.
page 11, down toward the bottom, it says the owner requests a vehicle to be towed to a legitimate or other than city-approved BSF lot. They can't charge no more than $5 a mile. How are we regulating that?
That would be, I guess I would never know unless there's a complaint.
Exactly.
So
That might
we
be
set the
something.
rules, and if we find that a record company price gouges somebody outside of our.
You still can't get rid of
ordinance, we have some kind of, I mean, if somebody complains, and that happens all the time, I hear complaints.
But you have to go through the
Yeah, go through the process.
Yeah, so we can't, the city can't do anything about that.
Unless in
If
their
they're violating
permitting, unless in their
ordinance.
permitting processes, they agree to a certain
Yeah.
number.
Right.
If they sign a contract to agree to a certain number in the permitting process, then yes, we can enforce it.
We
Other
should be
than
able
that-
to remove them from the rotation.
Other than that,
From
I
your
agree with
business.
him.
I would assume when they get their permit, it's gonna refer back to this.
If they violate this ordinance, we can remove them from
Vehicle
permission
would
to
never
do
go
business.
with us.
Right, exactly. Once
We
they,
might not be able to find them, but the state might be able to do that.
if they violate the rules of the ordinance. Gotcha.
And I don't see, tow companies has become a profession in Texas. I don't know how many years ago, 10, 15, 20 years ago, they made it to where they gotta get state certified. They're a profession, they got rules they have to abide by, just like police officers, just like barbers, you know.
Shit, back in the day, man, the records caused more accidents than they don't. They used to run me off the road getting done.
Absolutely.
I remember the day when the record drivers were our only backup. And that was on the old chip system, but
There'd be a bunch of them there.
yeah, but now, we got officers that come and, help us out, and, the record drivers don't have to be inconvenienced with patrol, basically. They can just say, oh, I'm next up on the rotation, I better be ready.
So what if no heavy-duty wrecker signs up on your rotation, then what are you gonna do?
I don't know, I need to lean on some experts to tell me how to best handle that.
Because you just signed your policy, and you got all these record companies that are signed up, you're not gonna be able to call the sheriff's department and say, hey, send me a heavy-duty record. They're
So
gonna say
you got a,
that you have your own policy.
You've got a semi broke down, and you do not have a record company on this list, that is supervisor discretion to call the company that can handle the tow. I'm just saying.
Not.
But
It
the
does
policy
not
does say
limit
that they
us.
must have a light, medium, and heavy duty to be part of it. So they have to have all three records.
But what he's
You
saying
can't
is,
do
what
that.
if, what if
You
none,
cannot tell a record company that they gotta have a medium, lightweight, medium weight, and heavyweight. Because most record companies can't afford a heavyweight because it's like $400,000
That's what's clear.
or more.
Policy.
So if it's in there, you need to take that out.
Is that fee correct? It's only $800 to tow a semi? $800, I would think it would be much more than that to
So
tow a
when I had
semi.
mine, I think I broke down, it was $800 to start, and it was like $50 a mile, or $100 a mile.
Well, in the fee structure here, it said, I think under heavy, it was
And
800.
there's two on patent roads. I believe there's two patent roads, I think there's only two on some of them.
Who has a heavy duty, Slinky has one, and Jeremy has one?
I'm not sure who all runs them.
You don't want.
I've just
But it's
always-
been-
Call
Yeah,
a
yeah.
specific record company, because now you're showing fingertips for that record company.
Right. That's one thing I want to avoid is any kind of favor.
In patent roads, it's no said number, that's the two heavies.
I understand that, but if you've got 5 record companies with light and medium duty records, and you have something broke down, let's just say you got a grade all broke down in the middle of the road, none of those records can tow that. You have to go outside of
I would
this.
probably have to ask the county to take it.
No,
and then
let's
those
just say it's not a
people-
county. What I'm saying is, you have to go outside of that. This can't limit us.
Right.
Okay, I don't look at this to limit what we can do, I look at it as to regulate what we can do. We can't limit ourselves and say, well, no record company signed up to haul anything heavy, so guess we don't haul anything heavy. No, that's limiting us.
I think to me, just putting me on the spot, you know, what to do, there's absolutely no, tow companies on our list that's available. Let's say we got 3 people available to do heavy tows, and the situation arises, I think I would call the sheriff and say, can we pass this tow on to you?
That's what
And
I'm
it would
saying.
fall under their policy, they would do the billing, they would have to
Yeah.
follow all that, I mean, we are inside the county.
Let's use this as a tool to regulate the towing traffic on our scenes, the towing truck traffic on our scene. Let's not use this to limit what we can do.
Right.
Let's not write it that way.
Ricky, that was taken out. That was the old one we took out. It's not here.
So that's one of the things to took out.
Yeah, we took that out.
I think that would be the answer, is if there's nobody available, just call dispatch and say, can we drop a county tow record?
I do agree with Councilman Warwick. I don't think you should put on here that it's a prerequisite that they have to have all 3 classes.
That was in the North policy, and we took that out.
They took it out of this one?
Sorry to take.
I read the other one, sorry.
Yeah, that was in the North, and we realized.
That's why we read that one too.
I did, I read that one and made notes on it.
We realized that wasn't like first.
Yeah, okay. Okay,
That's why it's taken out, otherwise.
So that's good. So now you haven't limited the record companies, but with that, let's not limit ourselves. If they can't tow it because it's too much, then we're going to have to call and make other.
We'll call dispatch and treat it as a county tow. And then the county person,
There's 5 record services that you can choose from, call one of them. You call one of them, I can't call them, you call one of them.
No, I think we can't.
I don't like the idea of us calling direct, because that puts the officer in a bad spot of being accused.
No,
But I think calling the county and say, hey, can we use
That's
your county
fine.
policy?
I didn't say officer, I said supervisor.
Yeah, right.
You have the driver call, right, assuming that they're
Well, the
coherent.
driver has the right, under certain circumstances, to request their own preferred tow company.
Right.
But that wouldn't be the case unless they were broke down or stuck in a ditch. Dollar General does it all the time. They call their own contract.
And that's what I was
person.
thinking of that, yeah.
Yeah, they call their own person sometimes to get them out.
Yeah.
And that's listed in here too. If they have someone, they can do that, as long as they can get them in a reasonable amount of time.
Absolutely.
So on top of
If
this.
they say, I got a record coming to be here an hour, like, no, they can't.
Can't do that. That's what I'm saying. It has to be supervisor discretion because we can't close our road down
Right.
if something's stuck across the road.
And I think the supervisor's called to utilize the county tow policy.
If that works, then that
On
works.
top of this ordinance is what the city council agrees. On top of this, I'll have my own tow policy within my general orders. And we can address those things in that.
Absolutely.
What to do under these specific situations. And I'll make sure, I'm sure Wesley will be all right. I'll just make sure that we can still use his tow policy. I know there's been times when I see a trooper, sometimes in Splendora, and they're trying to decide whose tow policy do we want to use. Do we want to use the county or do we want to use Splendora? Chip or rotation? And I've seen them make that decision.
They got their own, don't they?
You like the ordinance with the exemption of the 5 items taken out?
With everything that we've discussed, supplementing the word notification for the word call. I like that throughout this, just in case. And with the other changes y'all made on page 9.
So I
like
can go
it.
to changes real quick.
Yeah.
We struck any mention of chip. There was 2 more places, and if there's a third, we'll strike it.
Mhm.
And we struck the rotation list maximum, so there's no maximum.
There's no cap, okay?
And then all the call references to the notification.
Yep.
And the 278 changed to 275.
275, okay.
Mayor, I make a motion that we pass ordinance 003-25 with the changes Chief just mentioned.
Okay, motion on the floor, Councilman Mullane to accept, pass ordinance number 003-25 as presented with changes by Chief Carlisle. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Councilman Sanders, seconds?
Yes, sir.
Any other discussion, council? All in favor of approval? We've got Mullane, Davis, Sanders approval, and we have Councilman Warwick approval. It is unanimous.
Thank you, and I will, I'll have in mind all of the things that y'all mentioned and plug them into my policy of how to enforce this ordinance.
All right. Moving on, council. Discuss, consider voting to appoint 2 directors for the Montgomery County Central Appraisal District Board of Directors.
Mayor, make a motion, we take no action.
Motion on the floor on item 20 to take no action by Councilman Mullane. I have a second. Second, Councilman Warwick. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor of no action, show it as unanimous. No action, item 20.
Again.
Council, we have no, sorry?
No, we were just.
Okay. Council, we have no reason to adjourn into closed executive session. So no need for 21, no need for 22, no need for 23. City Council request future agenda items. Our next meeting is December 15th.
Yes, sir.
We have some events coming up. Christmas tree lighting on the 4th, Thursday. 4th. 4th, Thursday the 4th?
Yeah, Thursday the 4th.
Okay.
Yes, sir. 5 o'clock.
Say again?
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. I'll make sure the commissioners are aware. Councilman Sanders, future agenda items, anything else you want to bring up?
No, sir.
Councilman Davis?
I will try to have a draft for the tree preservation ordinance, which I have not done yet.
Make a motion that we.
Just for discussion, not for,
To discuss.
right, to discuss, not to approve.
Right.
Any future agenda items or anything else?
No, sir, I make a motion we adjourn for the evening.
Okay, and with that motion, do I have a second on the motion to adjourn by Councilman Mullane? I have seconded by Councilman Sanders. Discussion, I wanted to say, welcome to both you guys. David, welcome back. Ricky, Councilman Moore, looking forward to working with you. I think your law enforcement experience is gonna actually help this council out. I do miss having that on here. So, thank you for stepping up and doing it. All in favor of adjournment? Show it as unanimous. This meeting is adjourned at 8:34.